All right. So we've been starting a whole unit on geometry, rookie students. Before you guys got here, we already started a unit on geometry. So my goal today is to get you guys up to speed on where we're at. So I need you to like focus like a laser beam and help me out, help me help you by just focusing. Hernandez, you ever seen an X and Y axis before? Remember lines like this? How about Mr. Gabriel?
No.
Have you ever seen an X and Y axis before in some math class in the past? Mr. Mendoza, you ever seen an X and Y axis?
Yeah.
Nice! Morales, you ever seen an X and Y axis? I know Gaia has. Hernandez. No, wait. Perez, right? You seen it? Cool. Martinez, you seen the X and Y? Miss, Ortiz. Last name.
Garcia.
You ever seen that before? Chavez. Nice. Cruz. You ever seen that before? Okay, now watch this. Since you guys all seen that before, you guys should have no problem, Gaia, watch this. You should have no problem plotting some points with me. Watch this. You're going to plot this point for me. -3, -4, right here. Boom. When I say plot, that means draw a dot at -3, -4. Do that for me. Again, you want that R stamp? Right now it's time to be just taking notes. Just copy what I'm doing. It's not rocket science. It's not child abuse. Just copy what I'm doing. All right. Now go ahead and plot a point at 2, -4. How about that? 2, -4. Plot a point at 2, -4. And then the fun doesn't stop. Look at this. You're now going to connect those two dots with a line. Now, because a line has a beginning and an end, we actually don't just call it a line, we call it a line segment. So any line that has a beginning and an end is a segment. Any line that has arrows at both ends, it goes forever on both directions, that's a line. But this is a line segment. Okay, so far so good. Copy that down. Just blurt it out if you know the answer. What would be the distance between, let's call this point over here point A and this point B. What's the distance between the point A and B? How many units between A and B? What's the distance, would you say?
5.
How'd you get 5?
I counted it.
Thank you. Just count the squares. Look at it. Here we go. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Distance is 5. So go put distance from A to B is 5. 5 what? Well, it's not. They don't specify on this graph. They didn't specify these are inches, feet, yards. So we're just going to put units. Okay. If I told you, hey, you know what? These all represent inches, and this is, then it would say 5 inches. But if there's nothing specified, then we just use the generic word of units. So veteran students in here, this is a replay of what we did a few days ago, the distance formula. So you guys are in an advantage. But don't get cocky and arrogant, because you're going to be challenged soon. Okay, that was pretty simple. Adriano just looked up from A to B and you just counted. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was pretty easy. But now, what if we had something like this? Go ahead and plot a point at using the same graph, go to plot a point at negative 5, 1, actually negative 5, negative 1. Right there. Let's call this point C. Negative 5, negative 1. And plot a point at 3, 2. 3, 2. Let's call that point D. Let's connect those puppies with a line. Let me walk around. Can you give me the distance between C and D? Now it's not so easy because it's going diagonal. We can't just count squares. Okay, this is a little more difficult. What it's going to require is what we call the distance formula. When I say the formula, I mean a recipe. If I gave you the recipe to bake brownies, a recipe to bake a cake, that's like a formula. You throw in so many eggs, so much flour, salt, sugar, all that jazz. In the same way, if you want the distance between any 2 points, I'm going to give you the recipe, which is the same as saying I'm going to give you the formula. And here it is. You're going to write it with me. Check this out. Go over here. Distance formula. Here we go. I'm going to write it, but I don't want you to get scared. It looks scarier than it actually is. I will hold your hand and take care of you so you don't have to have nightmares and start crying to mommy. It's going to be okay. Square root. You guys seen square root before? If not, don't worry. I'm going to review that a little bit. But the formula is a square root of some stuff. Now, let me show you the stuff. X sub 2 minus x sub 1 to the second power. Again, it looks scarier than it actually is, but it's nothing. Trust me. Please believe me. Plus, by the way, let me just finish it off first and then I'll start explaining. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 to the second power. And that's it. Now, rookies, if you forgot or have never seen these little numbers below the X, these are called subscripts. All they are placeholders. And the analogy or example I use is when you go out into the PE blacktop, if you ever go to PE, you have your number that you stand on the blacktop. That number is like a placeholder for you. In the same way, we call these subscripts. They're just placeholders for the points that you're dealing with, the 2 points that are at the end of the segment. Let me explain. Again, veteran students, you got an easy day today. Hang tight. Just stay with me. Because you've seen this before. So I'm expecting you guys to ace this puppy. Especially the Friday quiz. Yeah, so, like I said, the subscripts I just circled, they're like placeholders. And let me tell you what goes in them. Watch. Look at C and D. Remember I asked you what's the distance between C and D? Watch this. The first number right here on C, the negative 5 is your X. The second number is your Y. On D, the first number is an X. The second number is a Y. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to assign my subscripts, the 2's and the 1's. Once I assign them, I'm going to plug and chug. Just plug them in that formula and rock and roll. Watch. Look what I'm going to do. I'm going to assign the negative 5 and negative 1 to my 2's. These are going to be my 2's. The negative 5, negative 1. And the 3, 2 is going to be my 1's. I could have done it the other way around. Doesn't matter. I could have made point C my 1's and these my 2's. But what does matter is I can't do this. I can't go 2, 1. They got to have the same subscript for one given point. I could have made these my 1s, and then I could have made these my 2s. That would have been fine. But they have to agree. So let me go back to the OG way I had it. This is a 3, 3, 2. So I had these as my 2s. Look at 2s. So the -5 is my x sub 2. The -1 is my y sub 2. This is y. Forget my chicken scratch. The 3 is my x sub 1. The 2 is my y sub 1. Now I'm gonna go ahead and plug and chug. I'm ready to rock and roll. Watch this. Watch this. Okay, so let's see. Let me follow the recipe. We're baking a cake. The recipe calls for some x sub 2. Some x sub 2. Where's the x sub 2? There it is. -5. Nice. Stay with me. Okay. Let me rewrite the whole formula again. That's -5 minus x sub 1. X sub 1 was right here. The 3. Nice. To the second power. Close that parenthesis to the second power. See, I'm just plugging and chugging, you guys. Come on. Plus. All right, y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Let me look at the y's. Which one did I assign my y sub 2? Here we go. Nice. Right here. It's a -1, huh? -1. Minus, excuse me, y sub 1 is 2. Rocking and rolling. Now, rookie students, if you guys are rusty with subtracting negative and positive numbers, that's okay. I'm going to work with you. We already finished one day a lesson on that of how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide negative and positive numbers. So if you're rusty, I'll help you out. Don't worry. But the veteran students in here, we had a whole scavenger hunt outside. You guys, Lopez, Adriano, and Robles. I'm looking you guys to be leaders in helping out some of the students in here to refresh them on how to subtract and add negative and positive numbers. So let's try it. Watch. But some of you may remember. If you don't worry about it. I'm gonna work with you. Watch. Parentheses first. -5 minus a 3. Veteran students in here? Keep, change, change, huh? Keep, change, change. So it's really -5 plus -3. So negative plus more negative is still negative, huh? So that's going to be a -8, huh? So watch this. -5 plus -3 is -8 to the second power. I'm just following the recipe. Plus -1 minus a 2. So when I subtract, I keep, change, change. That's a little rule that I went over. Again, rookie students, if that doesn't ring a bell, I'm going to work with you. Just don't panic. It's going to be all right. -1 plus -2 is going to be -3. To the second power. Don't forget that exponent. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. All right, little crash course. Rookies, if you forgot what second power means, any rookies in here remember what a second power means? Only rookies, not veterans. Gaia, hit it!
I'm a rookie.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
still new.
yeah, so you're a rookie. Tell me.
Isn't the power like when you like multiply it by itself?
By itself, thank you. In other words, watch this. Beautifully said, Gaia. Watch. -8 to the second power means -8 times itself. It doesn't mean -8 times 2. It means -8 times -8. What does that become?
-6.
64, but positive or negative though?
Positive.
Nice. Negative times negative is positive. Very nice, Mendoza. Rocking and rolling. Watch this. So negative 8 times itself becomes a positive 64, you guys. Watch that. Beautifully said. Plus, okay, negative 3 to the second power is really, let's see, negative 3 to the second power means negative 3 times negative 3. Negative times negative is still positive. That becomes positive 9. Rocking and rolling. All right. 64 plus 9, I want to say is 74?
75. No,
Yeah.
73.
Excuse me, 73, huh? Keep hiccuping my rice bowl. 73. Square root of 73. Now, rookie students, I trust you've seen square root before, and all that means is what number times itself becomes 73. In other words, this is asking what number times itself becomes 73. That's what this really means, is what number times itself becomes 73. Well, I'm going to let the calculator do the work. I'm bad with mental math. I'm going to let the calculator do the work. So I'm going to go to Desmos.com, and I'll put the link on the assignment today. Watch. Let me go to Desmos. Scientific calculator. Watch me, I'm going to put the link for you guys right now. Let me copy and paste this puppy. I'm going to dump it right here in this C28 assignment. Let me dump it in here. So there it is for you if you want to use that later. But let me use it, just watch me use it for now. You guys are doing good right now. Watch this. Square root's right there. Let me type in 73. Look what I get. I get this 8.544 blah, 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 nasty infinite decimal number. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to approximate. I'm going to round it to the nearest tenth, the first decimal to the right. In other words, watch. I'm going to round it to the nearest tenth. That's that 5 right here. Let me get this marker going here. This 5 right there, piece of garbage. That 5, I look to the right of it. If that number's 5 or bigger, then the 5 turns into a 6. If not, it just stays a 5. And so that's a 4, so the 5 just stays a 5. So our answer is approximately 8.5. Look at it. Approximately, because I had to round off. I had to do this. So approximately, the little two tildes right there, 8.5. That's the distance. Remember about a half hour ago I asked you what's the distance between C and D? Look at it. The distance between C and D is about 8.5 units. Now it seemed kind of long, but we can go quicker once we get some practice. Let's do one more, and then you're going to try one on your own. If you can't do it on your own, I'll be walking around to help from the Jamboard. You guys are doing excellent. Paying attention, you're taking notes. Love it, you guys. You guys are doing really good. All right, let's go ahead and plot on the same coordinate plane. Go ahead and plot, let's see. I'll do this one in pink. Plot -4 -1, 2, 3, hold up here. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. -4, -4, 3. Let's call this point E. And let's plot -1, 5. That's it. Wait. Hold on. This axis got kind of tweaked here. Sorry about that. So let's plot -1, 4. Right here. So -1, 4. Let's call that F, point F. It's a little segment. Right there. E and F. Do that with me. There's the formula. Is that kind of hard to see? Let me make the color of my background color a little better. How about that? Now we're talking. Yeah. How about just white? Nah. Looks pretty cool. A little hard on the eyes, but oh well. All right, first step. I already saw a few of you already doing it. Let's assign our subscripts. In other words, here's my 2, here's my 1, sub 2, sub 1. Let's assign those first with the 2 endpoints, E and F. I'll make these my 2s and these my 1s right there. How about that? It can go vice versa. Remember, it doesn't matter. Let me make a different color because that is hard to see. So let me go white. I made these my 2s right here and these my 1s. So we're trying to figure out the distance between E and F, right? Remember that. Don't lose track of what we're doing here. E and F. Rocking and rolling. Here we go. Square root. Let's go. So I assigned my subscripts, 2s, and my 1s. Let's plug and chug. X sub 2. What's my X sub 2 the way I set it up? Anybody just blurt it out. What's my X sub 2 the way I set it up?
-4.
Thank you. X sub 2, -4. Minus X sub 1. Help. -1, huh? So look at minus a -1. Careful there, you guys. It's -4 minus a -1. I got to follow the recipe. I'm subtracting a negative. I'm going to take that puppy to the second power, and then it's plus. Here we go. Y sub 2. Someone besides Ariano. What's my Y sub 2?
3.
Thank you. 3. Y is 2. Because remember, look at it. It's X and Y, right? It's always X and Y. So my Y sub 2 is a 3. Minus Y sub 1 is going to be a 4. Square that puppy. Here's what I'll do. This is kind of hard on the eyes. Get rid of that for now. I'll put the graph up later. I've done that a long time ago. Questions so far? You guys are doing awesome. This is the last example. You're going to try one on your own with my help as I walk around. Here we go. Doing the parentheses. Remember, please excuse my dear and silly, we got to do what's in the parentheses first. So the parentheses, I got to keep, I got to change. So I really have a -4 plus 1. That becomes, help,
3.
close. -4 plus 1. Signs are different, and I'm adding -3. Take the sign, so it's 3, but take the sign of the bigger number. Because 4 is bigger than 1, take the sign of the bigger number. -3 to the second power plus, again I'm subtracting. Keep the sign of the first, change the sign to addition, change the sign of the second number. Nice. Now that's a -1, huh? 4 minus 3 is a 1. Take the sign of the bigger number, it's negative. Let's square that puppy. Nice. -3 to the second power means -3 times -3, which becomes +9 if my coffee is kicked in. Plus, -1 times itself becomes +1 if my coffee is kicked in. -1 times -1, yes, +1. Nice. So I got the square root of then of 10. Calculator time. Calculator time. Here we go. Again, I left this link to this calculator on C28 that you guys are going to open up shortly. Let me clear this puppy. Square root of 10. 3.2. Look at the first decimal, you guys. Nice, Mendoza. Look at it. Watch. I'm looking at that first decimal there. The 1, I look to the right of it. That's 5 or bigger. So it becomes a 2. So approximately 3.2 is the distance. Rocking and rolling. Rolling and rocking. Approximately 3.2 is the distance. Approximately. Now, if you're rusty with negative and positives, like like we did up here, like -4 minus -1 and all that, that calculator I just showed you that I left the link to does negative and positives. Watch. -4 minus a -1. Look at it. -3. So it does all that for you. If you're a little rusty for now, use this calculator.